Yo! Yayo, yayo, dreaming. Don't give it up, Lupe. Dreaming. Don't give it up, Solo. Dreaming. Don't give it up, Nave. Dreaming. Don't give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is Phil Plays TCG, and today I want to do a fun video talking about Sakazuki, the deck that everyone is scared of in this meta, for a good reason. It is absolutely one of the best decks in the format. Some would argue the best, and I can definitely understand why people would consider the best because it has so many different options of play, so many different things it can do every turn, and yeah, beyond that, I guess speaking of which, all the different things it can do, the reason I personally love Sakazuki is because there are so many different ways you can build this deck. There are so many cool tech cards for it, and so I wanted to make a video essentially talking about all the different tech cards that you could throw into Sakazuki, some cards that may be better for the deck in the future. Obviously, we are still talking about the OP05 meta because OP06 hasn't come out yet here in the United States. So these are all going to be cards that are currently available as of right now to play in this deck. Some of these are going to be very obvious staple cards that we've seen throughout the meta. Some are going to be, you know, haven't seen that, but they have been popping up in some decks in the Japanese format. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Please, while we are doing this, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. We are on our way to 600 subs, and I'm hoping to get to 600 by the end of the year. It is the 28th. We got 3 more days. So, you know, I would really appreciate any and all support. Thank you guys once again. Now on to the video. So, obviously we know what Sakazuki does. Sakazuki is the black-blue navy leader with the ability of once per turn, you can discard a card from hand to draw one. Cycling. Amazing. Then, when he swings in, he gives one of your opponent's characters -1 to their cost. Fantastic. So, let's just head down the line here. Mihawk. 9-cost Mihawk from set 1. A lot of people have been debating about whether this card is fantastic for the deck or it is not great. To be honest with you, I am still on the fence about it. I love this card. The alt art for this is probably one of my favorite cards, you know, artworks in the game. But 9 is a lot of Dawn. True, but there are ways, you know, around it that you can throw down a Ice Age, a Great Eruption, and then essentially combine that with your leader. You're hitting every card in the game. You're hitting all 10 costs and below cards. Is a wonderful card, but the idea to play this card is very rough because unless you are in a safe spot, you don't want to use most of your Dawn to play just one card. That's my only problem with it. I love this card, and I was running it in a build for a while, but I still run one copy of it in my build for now, but that may change. It's still a fantastic card, but it just kind of depends on your build, maybe your locals, your play style. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Mihawk. Next, this is kind of a gimmick card, the Rush Usopp from set 3. A lot of people are running this as kind of like a joke card. It is the only card that I know of in blue with Rush. And it's kind of one of those things that people don't expect this. Being a 4-cost, 5k body with Rush, you don't have to use its other ability, but the fact is some people have gotten wins in the Japanese meta with this card, and it is kind of funny because no one expects you to throw down Rush Usopp and swing in. Because sometimes in this deck, even I've noticed that you just need one more attack, and this card could be the answer to that. I don't recommend running more than just a single copy of it, but you know what? Who knows? This could catch on over here. Next, we have Ulti. Ulti is one of those cards that, honestly, when you think about it, it's a Hound Blaze that can attack every turn. It's a 3-cost 4k body with its ability attach 1 Dawn. When attacking, return a 1 or 2-cost character to its owner's hand or bottom of deck. Throw a Dawn on him, boom, he's bottom decking 2 costs. That's awesome. And it's a 3-cost card, which means it's a good card to play on your turn 2 if you go first. Your opponent's gonna have to deal with this card. The problem is because it is such a low cost card, it is fairly easy to, you know, get rid of, with a lot of decks now having great removal for lower cost bodies. Beyond that, though, I think it's a pretty solid card. I'm currently running 2 of in my deck, and it's worked out so far for me. Speaking of ulti, we're going to continue on with the 4-cost 5k super rare ulti from set 5. I like this card because, 1, it has counter power. 2, its ability is if your leader is multicolored, which Sakazuki is, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 to your hand, and then place the rest at the bottom or top of your deck. So if you draw 3 great cards, you pull 1 card you need for now, put the other 2 on the top. Your leader ability allows you to discard 1 and then draw 1. So you do know what's going to come up, which is really cool. Or if you draw 3 bad cards, bottom deck all of them. You know, it's great. It's a great way to help cycle through your deck. The problem is it's not Navy, so it's not searchable. You can't recycle it through other abilities. So it is essentially just kind of one of those things that, unfortunately, if it gets into your drop area or trash, you're not going to be able to get it back. But it's a really neat card. Blue Hina from set 5 is also one of those cards a lot of people are talking about. Is it great? Is it not? Is it so-so? I think it's a pretty decent card for situational use. It's a great card to play on your turn 2 if you go first, because most of the time you will always be able to get that draw ability off. I like it how you can also cycle it later through Rebecca's ability, if I'm not mistaken here. Oh no, it's a black character. Never mind. You can't do that. It is another. It's a decent card to play on, like I said, on your turn 2 going first. You always get that draw off. Your opponent's going to want to get rid of it because all you got to do is throw a Dawn on it. It becomes lethal. It is searchable. It's interesting. It helps just retain your hand size. Then, of course, we have 7-drop Borsellino. This is pretty much staple in all Sakazuki decks. It is essentially one of your big boss monsters. Combine this with Great Eruption, Ice Age, your leader ability, Kuzan, 4-drop Kuzan. Like, this thing will get rid of almost anything on the board. And it's an AK body, which is pretty hard to get rid of in its own right. Next, we have Monkey D. Garp. It's a 2k counter. It's a Navy card, so it is searchable through brand new. And it allows you to on-play draw 2 and then trash 2, bottom deck 2 cards from hand. It allows you just to cycle through more cards. The biggest draw of this card is the fact that it's a Navy 2K. That's really about it. But if you like to be able to cycle through your hand quicker, not a bad option. Next, we have 10-drop Kaido from set 5. This is a card that a lot of people are saying is great into Sakazuki as a 1 or 2 of. And I can understand that. Being able to draw 4 cards is amazing, and it can really help sustain you later on in the game. The problem being is if you do not have enough life, enough defenses before you play this card, you're essentially you're banking on those 4 cards to save you. And if you draw mostly uncounterable cards, which unfortunately a lot of cards in Sakazuki are uncounterable, then it hurts. I've done that before where I drew 4 cards and only one of them had counter power and the other 2 were useless to me at that point. So it is a rough card, but if you play it and you see the cards you need, it's a game changer. Of course, 4-drop Kuzan from set 2. This card is amazing for being able to get rid of big bodies on board. The problem is, once again, many decks now have great tools for board clearing or getting rid of low-cost cards. And Kuzan is a low-cost card. And without having counter power, he's really just, you play him, you draw 1, which is great in its own right. But there's rare chance that you're going to be able to use his ability, because most decks will just wait to be able to KO something like that. But if you can keep him on board for a turn, he's awesome at clearing big bodies. Then, of course, we have Kobe, a black staple from set 2. Hasn't been too much lately, but I mean, he does have his merits. He's a 3-cost 4K body with counter power. His ability on play, trash 1 from hand, KO up to one of your opponent's characters at a cost of 3 or less. This can help clear boards, or getting rid of a card if you can't get it down to 2 or less. Problem is, trashing a card from hand, those are your resources, and you want to keep as many resources in your hand when it comes to playing blue Sakazuki. So this, I don't really see a lot of reason to run multiple copies of this. Maybe run it as a 1-of. But I mean, you can grab it from trash with Rebecca or Mancherry. So it does have its recursion ability. But like I said, maybe run it as a 1-of. Of course, Suru, just 2k counter. staple. On play, you can give something -2, so it's an amazing card to play, even not counting its 2k counter power. You have Hina, blocker Hina from set 2. 5-drop, 6k body with counter power and blocker, and on block, choose up to one of your opponent's cards at the cost of 6 or less. The chosen card cannot attack during this turn. That ability is kind of meh. This is a much more defensive build. If you don't have access to the 4-drop Borsellino, this is not an awful card, but the Borsellino is more preferred. And of course, like I said, 4-drop Borsellino card's an amazing. Run 3 or 4 of in your deck. Not really much else to say about this card. Now, one thing, though, is a lot of people don't realize, with Sakazuki, you want to swing in with your Borsellinos. I know it's kind of weird to swing in with a blocker, but remember, it's more aggression. We need to get rid of cards out of our opponent's hands or take down their life. And worst case, this card's still a 6k on your turn, so they're going to have to dedicate some resources or a bigger body to get rid of it. Then, the other option for your secret rare in the deck, 10-cost Kuzan. This card is absolutely nuts, well, was nuts in the OPO2 meta, being able to give all of your opponent's cards on your turn -5, and then on play, KO card with a cost of 0. So, you play it, KO is a 5-cost, or with your leader ability, a 6-cost or less. And then during your turn, you don't have to worry about negging your opponent's cards down to such a low total before you can get rid of them with your Rob Lucci's or any other cards, because they're going to be -5. Big bodies, your 10 costs, now are all 5. Much easier to manage. The problem is, same thing with Kaido, is that you want to play this card during a turn where you feel like you can protect yourself on the crackback, because you play this your turn, that's your whole turn. You then have to wait till the next turn to start using the ability. Plus, having a 10k body helps too. This against yellow, or a lot of decks that run big bodies like Red Purple Luffy, is awesome. The problem is, you just have to make sure you play it at the right time. Currently, I am running 1 copy of this in my deck, just kind of see how it works, and so far, it's actually been pretty good. But we'll have to see if the meta changes from Kaido to Kuzan, but I do think Kuzan is a really underrated card for this deck. Next, we have Virgo from set 3. It is a 2k counter, 5-drop, 5k body that is Navy. So it is searchable with brand new, and it's also recyclable with Rebecca and Mancherry, which I think is a really cool ability. Actually, hold on. Is Mancherry? Yeah, it's recyclable with Mancherry. Its ability is with 1 Dawn attached, this character cannot be KO'd by battle. So you throw a Dawn on him, you swing in 6k, that card's going to stay there unless your opponent has some ability to bottom deck it or to KO it. But it's not going to be KO'd by battle. This is an interesting tech card that I've been seeing more people play in the OPO6 meta in Japan for Sakazuki. And I don't know, this is kind of a neat tech option, but once again, 5 Dawn for a 5k body is harsh, but you have that 2k counter, so it is recyclable, and you can use it defensively if you want. But yeah, I thought it's a cool option. Now let me know what you guys think in the comments. Next, bottom line here, we have the brand new Searcher, obviously staple. You play it on your turn 1 if you go second, or your turn 2 if you go first. You grab 3 cards, grab a Navy card, trash the rest. It's wonderful. You can recur it with Mancherry and Rebecca. I'm sorry, not Mancherry. You can recur it. You can play it from Rebecca, Rebecca's ability, and yeah, it's Searcher. You need this card. Sabo, 2 cards. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's a great card. It allows you to draw 2, trash 2. So more card cycling, getting rid of your hand. Maybe you have too many non-counterable cards. This will definitely help you with that. It's a blocker that helps protect your other cards from being KO'd by card effects. So it's a fantastic card. It's got counter power, and you can recur it with Mancherry and Rebecca. So it's fantastic. Bartolomeo, yes, that's the way to say it. 2k counter, 3k blocker. It's a neat card that can be once again reoccurred. It's a 2k counter, and it's more defensive power. A lot of people I've seen running like 1 to 2 copies of it. I like it. I personally have now removed it from the deck, but it, you know, if you're trying to play a more defensive build, this is a solid pick. One-legged soldier. I tried to make this card work, but it's rough. I can play it off of the Rebecca ability, but I cannot recur it, which is unfortunate. The ability to trash this card on your board to give a character -3 is wonderful, but you're never going to see this card again. Even though it's a 2K counter, it's just the fact you can't recur it is the biggest reason why I don't personally play this, but maybe some builds will be better with it. Then, of course, we've been talking about Man Sherry a lot in this video. Being a 1-cost, tap 1 when it's on board, rest the character to return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck, and then return one character with a cost of 3 to 5 from your trash to your hand. It has to be black, so you can't recur any blue cards, but basically you use this to recur your Rebecca, your Rob Lucci's, your 2K counters. It's such a good card. And once again, Rebecca, the star, the MVP, the 4-of staple in any Sakazuki deck. If you're not running this card at 4 copies, you're crazy. Being able to block on play, grab a card with a 3 to 7 cost from your trash to your hand. That's black, and then play a 3 cost or less black character from your hand. So you get your 2K counters back. You grab your Rob Lucci back. You grab your Sabo. You grab your your Borsalinos, your Kuzan, your just any good black card. You just recur with this card, and you set up an additional body that your opponent either has to deal with or just let me attack with them next turn. It's fantastic. The only problem is because it is a 0 power body, it is incredibly easy to get rid of this card, so don't rely on this card all the time, because a lot of times if you do, you're just gonna get smacked. But the card is amazing. I love it. Just, so good. And of course, the other part of the deck that makes people call it Sakalucci, this card is absolutely insane. 4 cost, 6K body. You place 3 cards from your trash onto the bottom of your deck, so you allow yourself to rebuild your deck. And then you get to KO a card with a cost of 2 and a cost of 1 on your opponent's board. This is great for clearing low to the ground bodies. It's a 6K body, which makes it really difficult to deal with. For swings, you're always dropping a 2K or multiple 1K counters. Card's nuts. We all know this. Amazing. And it's recurred through Rebecca and Mancherry. This is an odd card. It's a promo. Not a lot of people had access to had a chance to get this card as far as I'm aware of. But Morgan, it is a 4-cost 5K Navy card. When attacking, give it to one of your opponent's characters -3 to their cost this turn. So it's a 5K body that on swing can 1, apply pressure, 2, minus something 3K. It's a really interesting card. I only have 2 copies of this, but no, I've never seen this card run in any type of deck before. I think it's neat, but it's just one of those things that playing 4 for a 5K body that doesn't do something immediately on play is an issue. But I think this could be a nice option to build a more aggressive version of Sakazuki. But who knows? Let me know in the comments what you think of Morgan. Then, of course, we have Tashigi. Fantastic 2K counter. This card, also activate main. You can rest this card to give something -2 to their cost this turn. It is recurable through Mancherry and Rebecca. You can play it off Rebecca's ability, though you won't be able to use its ability. You can play it as a 3-cost on your turn 2 going first, and then give something -2, or at least set that body up so that next turn you can do something with it. Because it can be reoccurred, you have no problems using this card for defense early on, even if you're counting out of just a 5K body. You can always just get this card back. It's fantastic. Then of course the Hina from the starter deck. 3-drop 5K body that on play minus something 4 to their cost. Absolutely nuts. Great card. Run 3 to 4 copies of this in your deck to help get rid of really big bodies. The ultimate combo with this card, of course, is to trash it from your hand with your leader ability because it serves no purpose in your hand. Play Rebecca, grab Hina back from the trash, play it to minus something 4. Then KO it with a multitude of different card abilities. But yeah, this card's nutty. We all know this. Now we'll talk about the events that you can run in this deck. Sanji's Peel Off is a card that a lot of people are running just because it does allow you to draw more cards. Now, say you have a turn where you really don't have a good play, you know, you don't have a body to play that can KO something, you can play this. Grab 2 cards. Also, it's just a great card to get in your life. It's certainly, I can certainly understand why people run it. It's a really good card. I don't know. I don't know. I might try it. I've tried it in the past, but it just never seemed to come up that often. But I still think it's a solid card. 3,000 Worlds, a blue staple for months now, since set 3. And I can understand why people still run this card. I was running it for the longest time. Being able to drop a bottom deck of 5 cost with 4 is great. Sometimes you just don't have the ability to KO something, or you don't want to use so many cards in hand to get rid of a bigger body. So yeah, I'll pay a little extra and just bottom deck it with a 4 cost. Plus, if you get it on your life, it's amazing. I did take them out. I'm still trying to find ways to maybe put them back in, because I do think that is just an amazing card. Hound Blaze. We all know what Hound Blaze does. It's amazing. It's busted. This card being able, for 2 cost, you get to give a character 3k for the turn, and then you get to bottom deck at 2 cost or less. So you throw that on brand new. That brand new is now 6k body, and it's just, oh, it's so disgusting. This card is absolutely nutty. And of course, we have Ice Age. I love this card. I don't understand why people can run 1 or even like less copies of it. I think this card is insane. Being a 1-drop card that gives something -5 this turn puts so many things into range of being bottom decked or KO'd. And of course, its trigger is not bad either, being able to KO a 3 cost or less. You don't really want to use it too often for that, but it has come up where that's been a useful ability. Next, we have Great Eruption, another staple. 1-drop, give something -2 to draw. For 1, you cycle, and then give something 2 is amazing. And it's a trigger is also really good. Early on, I've done this before where I've gotten 2 Great Eruptions in a row off life during like the first or second swing, and I'll just play the trigger and makes your opponent trash a card from hand. Your opponent was getting rid of resources way too early. And yeah, it's a great card. Not really, no need for other explanations. And then finally, Marine Ford, the stage. It is a 1 cost on play. Give it to one of your opponent's characters -1. And then, of course, activate main. Rest this card to give one of your opponent's characters another -1 during this turn. So on play, you can -1, and then that same turn, tap it to give something another -1. So for 1 Dawn, you could essentially minus something 2. And then after that, it's just a -1 every turn. Sometimes you just need that 1 extra little bump. Just that one more minus, and then you can do some cool things. Not a lot of people are running the stage, but I think it's pretty neat. The deck is like, this just can give a little bit of an extra little bump, like I said. But anyway, these are just all the cards that I am considering, like that you can consider running in a black blue Sakazuki. And I know there are probably some other ones that I missed, but like I said, I love the Sakazuki deck because there's so many different ways to build it. And just looking at all of these cards, there's 32 types of cards, mix and mash of these bad boys, and you have a really neat deck. Sometimes so many people are running the same build of Sakazuki that a lot of people can just expect what you're playing. But sometimes it's really cool to play something that a lot of people aren't expecting. So take it with what you will. These are just some thoughts I had. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is there some awesome tech card that you think runs great in Sakazuki that you see no one playing and it's not on this list? Let me know. I would love to talk with you guys down in the comments. And yeah, remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.
Here's how the story goes. We find out by the treasure in the grand line. There's no doubt. The pirate whose eye is on it, he'll sing. I'll be king of the pirates. I'm gonna be king.
His name is is Luffy.
That's Monkey D.
Gonna be king of the